Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my what I read in January. If you're here for a tarot video, I promise we're going to be kind of interspersing book videos and tarot videos, so you can kind of subscribe for whatever you want and watch whatever you want. Maybe if you're a book fan, you'll become a tarot fan, and if you are a tarot fan, maybe you'll get some book suggestions. So let's jump into what I read in January. The first book I read in January was on Kindle Unlimited, and it was called The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I feel like everyone except for me has read this book until now. I was in a huge slump, and I was also having really bad insomnia, which probably maybe I shouldn't be reading thrillers if I'm having trouble sleeping, but I loved this book. I had a friend recommend it to me, shout out Brooke, and it was like such a good book to get me out of my slump. And something that I do is I will get the physical copy if I like it enough, which I'll talk about when I get to these ones over here. But this one was just such a quick, I want to say fun, because it was just like fun to be able to get through a book since I'm used to giant books like these ones. This one was quick, it wasn't as long, it was really fast paced, and I really liked the aspect of kind of the little twists, because I feel like normally I can predict things pretty well. This one, I thought I had it, and I had a little bit, but like it got me. The twist got me, and I didn't totally understand what was happening until we got to that place in the plot. So I love that part of it, that it kept me guessing. I couldn't stop reading it. I think I stayed up till like 5 a.m. Like I was already having a night where I couldn't sleep, and then I stayed up because I just wanted to finish reading it. So I highly recommend this one. I gave it 5 stars, and I will definitely be reading the second one, The Housemaid's Secret, also by Freida McFadden. And this book also made me realize how much I actually enjoy thrillers when they're not like too disgusting, because sometimes they get really gory and I just can't handle that. So this one's on Kindle Unlimited, as are most of the Freida McFadden books. And I also really liked the audio version of it too, because I decided to download the Audible version because it was like, I don't know, like $5 after I already had this one on my Kindle. So I decided to have that so I could kind of switch back and forth, because they sync wherever you are. So when I would read on here, it would sync to the audio and then vice versa. So I kind of like wherever I was just caught up on what I was reading, and it would pick up where I left off. So that was so nice. I'm definitely going to keep doing that with more books. And again, 5 stars. And I have more Freida McFadden's on my to be read list as well. The next book I read in January was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. These books, both of these, this is the first one, this is the second one, these are such gorgeous paperbacks. Like I don't know if you can see this, but there's like these gilded edges, and I love it. There we go. Now you can kind of see it with the light, but this is such a pretty book. Like I love just seeing it on my bookshelf, and I actually read it on my Kindle, and then I decided that I loved it so much that I wanted to get both of them because they just make me really happy to look at them on my bookshelves. And the covers on this, beautiful. I don't even know what to say. Like I am so speechless. The magic system in these books blew me away in a way that I have not been blown away since, like I can't even tell you about it, like since I was 12 maybe, and I was reading my favorite series of all time. It was just amazing, and especially as someone who does tarot readings and loves tarot cards, I'll try and tell you a little bit without giving it away. The magic system in these books, there are different cards that you can tap, and then like a certain thing will happen, and the users can only use them for so long without there being consequences, and that's all I will say. But there was like romance. Let's see if it gives us anything. It gives us a little synopsis there. But basically, she's kind of taken over by one of these powerful cards, and she has to figure out what goes on. It's very romantic with the undertones, and it's not forced or cringy. It didn't give me the ick. It was in fact the opposite, because I've been getting the ick a little bit from some of the romance, like the romantasy books I've been reading. So this one, honestly, this might be one of my favorite books of all time. And then it is a duology with 2 Twisted Crowns. Let me go ahead and grab this one. So this one is the second book, And I have not read a ton of duologies lately, or really ever. I feel like the books I read, they're always like trilogies, or they go on for like 4, 5, 6, 7 books or longer. And so I wasn't really used to the duology situation, but this one picks up right where One Dark Window leaves off. And this one I had a little bit of trouble with because you get another perspective. Actually, you get two. Well, I think you just get one more perspective than you get in this book. And the narrator is different. The narration style is a little different. But I needed to know what happened so badly after reading One Dark Window. I felt like I just picked up Two Twisted Crowns immediately. And again, you can see the gorgeous art. Like, these are just such beautiful books, and the camera isn't even doing it justice, but I just love seeing them when I walk by my bookshelf. It gives me so much joy every single time. Again, the magic system was amazing. It was kind of just like the pacing threw me off a little bit. I did like the depth that we got eventually from the other people that we heard from narration wise. So I did grow to like it, and I rated both of these 5 stars. I would rate this one like 7 stars if I could. One Dark Window. And Two Twisted Crowns, I liked the way that it was wrapped up. It was really good. I will read anything that Rachel Gillig writes because her writing is just so beautiful. I loved the way that there was like, they call this like gothic romantasy, and I just think there should be more gothic romantasy out there. So if you have any suggestions for something similar to this, please recommend it in the comments below, and let me know if you read any of these books. But if you particularly read either of these, I would love to hear from you, because I just want your opinion on what happened here, how this one was slightly different from One Dark Window. But I think this one's going to be a yearly reread. Like, I'm still thinking about this book, and I've read 2 books since then, and I've read 3. I've read 3 books since One Dark Window. I'm still stuck on it. Still thinking about it. I might just have to reread it ASAP, because I feel like then I have so much more perspective of kind of like what happens in the end. And she did villains really well too. Like, I felt like the characters had a lot of depth. I just loved the whole thing. The writing was kind of reminded me of like old school writing, where it was so lyrical. It was just beautiful. So highly recommend. Both 5 stars. Start with One Dark Window, and then go to Two Twisted Crowns. The next book that I read in January was Lightlark. I read it right after these 2 because I tried to read like some lighter stuff. I tried to read some Freida McFadden stuff, and I was just like so stuck in a fantasy world, like in this world particularly, that I needed another fantasy book just to get me somewhere else. And of course, I saw Nightbane, which is the sequel to this one, released right around the same time that Iron Flame came out. So I was like, I think it was actually released the same day, I want to say, because I just remember going to the store and seeing them both there on like the new releases shelf. And this one, the concept sounds amazing. Let's see if it has the description on the back, but it's kind of like advertised as this Hunger Games type situation, but also like Divergent-ish. And every 100 years, this island appears for just 100 days, and then these 6 rulers have to come together to break all these curses that are upon each of them. And I really liked how there were different curses, like different pros and cons for each nation, and it tells you in the front here like what the curses are. Let me see, it tells you on this page like each of the different realms and rulers, like what their curse and what their powers are. I really like this, and I had to refer back to this a few times because it does get kind of complicated, but I really love this world. And I know there were some kind of like mixed reviews on whether people thought this was a good book. I know the author was really young when she wrote it, but overall I was super impressed. Like, I thought it lived up to the hype. It didn't grip me as much as this one did, but like, I will for sure be reading Nightbane. I started reading it, but I just realized I had to like catch up on Crescent City because that's coming out. So Nightbane is on my to be read for February, so I'll definitely be getting into that. I also gave this one 5 stars. I loved it so much that I bought the physical copy. So 5 stars on Lightlark. And the 5th and last book that I read in January was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. And I really did like this book. I picked Every Summer After because I just needed like a quick non-fantasy, just like regular fiction book to read before I get into the giant world of Crescent City and just Sarah J. Maas in general, not to give any spoilers there, but I just needed something that was like quick, light, and this was that. I really liked it. I liked the back and forth narration. I also thought it was funny that Emily Henry put a quote on the cover here, because it does really remind me of Emily Henry's books and her writing. So if you are an Emily Henry fan, I highly suggest this book. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I would give it like 4.5. It just kind of reminded me of a lot of books that I have read. Like, it wasn't super special, but I also, like, it was her debut book and I thought it was really good. So I will probably read more books by Carly Fortune. I like this one. So if you just want a quick read, then I highly suggest it. Getting into my TBRs for February, I'm going to read Nightbane, which is the sequel to Lightlark, but I heard that also ends on a cliffhanger, and then book 3 isn't out yet and won't be out for a while, so part of me wants to wait on Nightbane until that gets closer, but we'll see. I probably won't be able to wait. I reread most of this in January. I didn't put it on my list because I kind of skipped around a little bit, but I read a lot of this just to prepare myself for Crescent City 3, which just comes out tonight at midnight. I went to like 3 stores today just to see if anyone had it early, because that happened with Iron Flame. I was not so lucky, but I did come home with The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, because I have seen this everywhere, and I feel like this one and the prequel sequel, A Day of Fallen Night, has just been on, like, these have been on my list ever since I saw them, just because they look gorgeous, they're huge, and I love the description. So that is also on my possible to be read list after I finish Crescent City 3. So we'll see how long it takes me to finish Crescent City 3, and then we'll get into that. And I also have a couple from Kindle Unlimited. I have The Inmate by Freida McFadden. And then I also have this one that looks so pretty, called When the Moon Hatched. Let me just close it so you can see the cover. This one is like, has incredibly high ratings. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and this one is also on my to be read. So we'll see which one I decide, or if something else finds its way into my hands. But starting tonight, I will be reading the 3rd Crescent City, which is going to be House of Flame and Shadow. So I think it's like 900 pages. We will see. But this series, let me just tell you, it took me so long to get through the first 5 chapters of the first book in this one's the second one, but in the first Crescent City book, oh my God, I think I tried to read it like 6 times. And I was like, why does everyone love this so much? Like, this is the hardest world building I've ever had to get through, but it was the most worth it. So push through those first 5 chapters, do it on audiobook if you can, because it's just easier to listen and pay attention. It's a little jarring to be in like a more modern world if you've read like more of Sarah J. Maas, where it's kind of like just such high fantasy. This one's a little different. Get through it so that you can read this book and then the 3rd book that's coming out. So those are my books I read in January and my February to be read so far. I'm sure something else will find its way in here, so I will make sure that I update you on that. And if you are a tarot video fan and that's why you subscribed, don't worry, I have those coming up. Again, I'll kind of intersperse it with books, but please leave your opinion on any of these books below. Please give me some of your favorite books as suggestions to read in February once I finish Crescent City 3. No spoilers, please. And I will see you guys very soon for the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.